Hello again, this is Mike Ram of Integrated Marketing, bringing you affiliate tips, educating beginners and intermediates into the wonders and mysteries of affiliate marketing. And I'm going to go slightly in a different direction today, into a more motivational direction, because I think what I've got to say is fairly important and it counts for quite a lot. And I have covered this before because one's always going to return to it in putting these videos up, this fact of developing amazing patience and persistence. And this is nowhere better illustrated than by the story of the Chinese bamboo tree. And you may have heard this one, but if you haven't, it's an instructive story because a lot of what is said here applies to you growing your business. This is the story of a farmer who decided to plant a Chinese bamboo tree. And instead of sowing the usual cash crops that most farmers sell, this is his main crop. And he planted the seeds of this Chinese bamboo tree in a piece of ground which was his, and he nurtured it, he watered it, he tended to it, he added nutrients to it, and he kept on lovingly tending a piece of ground which had nothing coming out of it, but obviously to him he knew exactly what was underneath the ground. And he just carried on tending to it every day. And the other farmers would go and tend to their crops, which would grow normally. At a high point in summer, they'd be ready for harvesting, and so they'd go and do it and sell the produce in the markets and make a living. And this farmer dutifully went on tending this patch of ground, without anything obviously showing. Now, after a while, people just started to think he was a bit of a nutcase, because he was watering and lovingly caring for a patch of ground which had nothing happening on it, or so it seemed. And he'd continue to water, lovingly tend, and add some vital nutrients to this area, and all the while the other farmers, in the midst getting on with their own farming, would just laugh at him and point him out as a sort of a figure of fun, so that even the children in the village would start laughing at him as well. But this didn't really dissuade him, and he carried on doing this task and going out and tending this patch of ground on and on, day after day, over 3 years, 4 years, and into the 5th year. And he carried on tending this piece of ground. I mean, most people have given him up as a complete lunatic by now, sort of strange ritual practices. And, generally he became a bit of an outcast. Nobody would talk to him except, just to tease him and ask him, if he propitiated the gods enough or whatever. And to which he'd just say, no, it's coming, it's happening. And the 5th year went on, and it reached sort of its later stages. 9 months passed, into the 10th month, into the 11th month, and then suddenly something started sprouting out of the ground. At first a small amount, a small tip of a head, a shoot coming through, and he carried on tending it and lovingly watering it and adding vital nutrients to the area, and then a bit more. Then all of a sudden, in the last few weeks, there's a mega growth just suddenly shot up out of the air, this great big Chinese bamboo tree, tall and massive. And people actually staggered that this is what had happened. This enormous, great big bamboo tree shooting up into the sky at a phenomenal rate of growth, it seemed. Meanwhile, the other farmers had gone and collected their crops and taken the produce to market, and sort of running out of food to live on now, as the year was drawing to an end. Meanwhile, obviously our friend with the Chinese bamboo tree was cock-a-hoop and said, well, this is what I was after. This is a real crop, and it'll serve me and my family so well for a very long time to come. And so it proved. And that, my friend, is the story of the Chinese bamboo tree. Now, obviously this is a metaphor for growing your business. And whether you conceive it as just as a business and you have to carry on plugging away, or whether you can bring to your thinking something of the farmer looking after his bamboo tree, then you realize that this process is not going to be a short one. It's going to take seemingly forever, and you just have to carry on and on and on and tending that piece of ground like the Chinese bamboo tree farmer. And you have to put up with various insults, various doubts, people calling you a nutter, running around, maybe throwing the odd rock at you. I didn't really mean that, but you know what I mean. It's best you keep a little bit quieter about this sort of stuff, because you don't want to tell everybody, because they're not going to understand at all. But if you're in this for the long game and you're an entrepreneur, then this is the story of what you're doing. You just have to go out there, continue to tend that piece of ground, that in other words, your business. Keep on putting in, seemingly getting no reward for ages and ages and ages. And then, if you're following the rules, then, it should happen for you. And that's basically the process, and that's what I'm doing here. And hopefully that's what you're doing with your business. Persistence, pig-headedness, just carry on doing the same thing, putting in and putting in. Not really expecting anything else to happen, except that you know that one day it will come to fruition and you'll be like the Chinese bamboo farmer with this enormous business suddenly blossoming. Anyway, that's all for today. That's sort of a Saturday story. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you can give me a like or subscribe to the channel. Anyway, thank you for your attention. There are free products below, one of which is the PDF exposing the myth, which is a very good debunking of the way other people regard internet businesses and entrepreneurship, and is basically about just not listening to what other people say about it too much. And the other one is a PDF about targeted traffic. It's a shorter one, but sort of maybe higher standard, or more for people who've done a bit of business. Anyway, thank you for listening. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.